Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is time to go over some NFL DFS. It is week 8 and I'm going over the main slate right now for you guys. I'm going to check the matchups, and I'm just going to tell you right now in advance, there are so many running backs to choose from this week with great matchups that you could almost just throw a dart up there and whichever one you get is going to go off. I guess I can't guarantee they're all going to go off, but there are so many good matchups, at least on paper. I know I say that a lot, but it doesn't always translate into the games. But, yeah, there's a lot of great matchups. There's a lot less good matchups for quarterbacks, however, so we should get through those pretty quick. I'm going to start off with Josh Allen. He is averaging 23.5 fantasy points a game. I do not like his matchup this week, so I am not even going to look at him. I'm not going to pull him up for you guys. I already have. For the sake of time, I'm going to keep moving on. Lamar Jackson, guys. I was looking over, and it was saying questionable before you actually click on him, and when you click on him, it says he is out. He is out for this week. That is news to me. He had a fantastic matchup, so that was going to look good there. But because of that, you have Tyler Huntley, very cheap at $4,300, who is available to play, and he's got a great matchup. Let's just go ahead and look at the matchup now. It's the Bears are 27th against the quarterback. They are 17th against the pass. So yeah, I think Tyler Huntley would be a good play. He'd be a cheap play. But there's other options I like more, like Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts averaging 21.9 fantasy points a game. New York is 28th against the quarterback. They're 26th against the pass. And just overall, not a very good defense. So Jalen Hurts, I expect to do very well this week, but there's cheaper options that I like even better. Dak Prescott averaging 22.3 fantasy points a game. He's playing my Broncos, though. Don't like the matchup. I actually hate it, and I am not going to play him. Wouldn't play him even if it wasn't the Broncos, as long as the defense resembled what the Broncos defense does. And, yeah, I just don't like that matchup at all. Baker Mayfield. He's averaging 20.2 fantasy points a game. Playing the Saints here, who are 21st against the quarterback, 12th against the pass. I expect him to do good, decent. With that said, if we come over here and we look at their players or their depth chart, let's just look at the depth chart. Bucky Irving is out. So it's Rachaad White that you're looking at to play running back, who I do think would be a good running back play this week. But Chris Godwin is also out. And as you can see, Mike Evans just went on the IR. So they've got a lot of playmakers there, but they might struggle a little bit. But with that said, though, guys, they still have Egbuka, who's a tremendous wide receiver. They have Sterling Shepard, who's a veteran wide receiver, who's great. And then they have this new Tej Johnson, who played phenomenal last week. I expect him to as well this week. Yeah, so with that said, moving back to the quarterbacks, I just wanted to make mention that they do have some injuries there. That could hurt his play a little bit, perhaps, but I don't think it will affect it too much. But he is not the quarterback I like the best, and the one that I do like the best happens to be Bo Nix of my Broncos. And guys, he got 40 fantasy points last week. I completely missed that too. I wasn't paying attention to the fantasy points. I was paying attention to the amazing comeback win that they had against the Giants in the fourth quarter that I said before. They never should have been down by that many points in the first place. But come on, 33 points in the fourth quarter. Came back and won it with, I think they had like 22 seconds left to retake the lead after the Giants scored. I might have that wrong, but it was somewhere ridiculously low time left in the game, and they still won. They came back, kicked the field goal, and won it. He's averaging 20.8 fantasy points a game because of that 40-point game last week. And the Cowboys are 32nd against the pass, 32nd against the wide receiver, and 30th against the rush. I expect my Broncos to dominate this game. I really do. It's in Denver. It's a perfect setup for them. But the Cowboys are scrappy, man. They can find a way to win sometimes. I really hope it's not this week. Anyways, moving on, another quarterback that I really like, and I'll just say these are probably my top two favorite, Bo Nix and Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams now averaging 18.3. He had a better average there at the beginning of the year, but that last game against New Orleans really took that down. And I'm not sure if he got injured in that game. That does seem like very low fantasy points for him. But Baltimore is 31st against the quarterback. They are 28th against the pass. I think Caleb Williams is set up in a perfect spot here. So I think, either one of those guys, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, either one could do good. Jackson Dart, I don't love in this spot against Philly, but man, he's been playing good football the last 2 weeks. Even though we lost to the Broncos, just going to point that out again. Philadelphia is 14th against the quarterback. They are 19th against the pass. I think that's an okay pick. I don't think it's a great pick. A lot of guys talking about Joe Flacco this week against the Jets. I'm not sure why. Joe Flacco has, I guess because he got 29 points last week against Pittsburgh. Outside of that, he's had plenty of good matchups that he didn't do very well. So, but he's got Jamar Chase now, so people like that, and I think he could do a good job. Guys, you're going to hear an awkward glitch here in the audio. You didn't miss anything. I had to pause the video where I am recording. There was actually a group of high school boys that just ran out of a building yelling and screaming, making all kinds of noise and acting like, honestly, like a bunch of 5 or 6 year olds. But anyways, with that said, they are back in the building now. And I'm going to resume this video. I don't want to have to start recording again. I've already started several times, and I apologize for that glitch. But with that said, Joe Flacco going against the Jets, who are 18th against the quarterback and the 9th against the pass. I don't love it there. I don't know what everyone's seeing other than the fact he played well in the last game and he has Jamar Chase now. I think that's all that they're saying. I don't know. Bryce Young looks doubtful. Want to play him anyways. Mac Jones, I definitely don't want to play this week. Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields looks good this week. He's playing the Bengals, who are 25th against the quarterback, 30th against the pass. I think he looks good. He does not have Garrett Wilson, and that is a thing that I think could really hinder his play this week. But if he can figure out who to pass to other than that, I think it's looking good. Michael Penix Jr. may or may not play. If you're going to play him, check back in somewhere. Make sure that he does play. Miami's 26th against the quarterback, 32nd against the rush. And I don't know why I said that. I meant to say 11th against the pass. But we do like Bijan Robinson. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Tua Tagovailoa, don't like him here in this spot. Rattler, don't like in this spot. Cam Ward, I do not like in this spot. Not sure if Kirk Cousins is going to play. If Kirk Cousins plays, I don't know. I think him or Penix could do decent. But then again, you have Tyler Huntley down here at 4,300. We like his matchup. It's a cheap play. And that's it for the quarterbacks. I'm not going to look at any more. Just going to show you. I'll start making my lineup now. I'll show you who I like. It's Bo Nix. And I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, there is no way I do not play Jonathan Taylor and Bijan Robinson this week. There's just not. I am playing them both happily. Jonathan Taylor averaging 26.9 fantasy points a game. He is playing the Titans, who are 27th against the running back, 29th against the rush. He is going to dominate. I am going to click him right now, or click on him. McCaffrey averaging 27.2 fantasy points a game. Last week he got 42.1 in a bad matchup against Atlanta, if I remember correctly. He's got a bad matchup here again, but that means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. I definitely would not blame you for playing him. I think he will probably still get 20-plus points as he has in, I believe, every game this year. Yeah, every single game he's played, he's got over 20 points. I think over 22 points. I'm not going to play him because I'm playing Bijan Robinson, who's averaging 26.2 fantasy points a game. My gosh, these running backs, guys. He's playing Miami, who is 30th against the running back and 32nd against the rush. There is no way, zero chance I do not play him. And I get it if you want to fade him because he's chalky. I don't see how anybody doesn't play him this week. I think I'd be baffled if 90% of people in this lineup do not play him, or in this slate don't play him. It doesn't make much sense to me. But, we got to look at the other running backs, though. So Barkley, I actually do like Saquon Barkley's matchup this week. And for some reason, my screen didn't want to scroll over there. But the Giants are 18th against the running back. They are 25th against against the rush. And this would be a revenge game for him, possibly, if you want to call it that. Don't know if he's looking for revenge against them, but it's his old team. And, I think he'll have a good game. I do. Devon Achane. I think Devon Achane will have a stellar game. The Falcons are 15th against the running back. They are 19th against the rush. Bucky Irving is not playing, as we already said, but Rachaad White is. I'm not going to click on Rachaad White now because I'm going to show you the matchup right here. The Saints are 24th against the running back, 23rd against the rush. And I think he would be a good play as well and a cheap option. At 6,400, he's down here. So he's not actually as cheap as I thought he would be, but still cheap. Moving on, don't like Williams in this spot. Don't like Cook in this spot. I like Scatterboo. I like Scatterboo quite a bit here against Philly, who's 25th against the running back, 21st against the rush. Judkins, I don't like this week. Rico Dowdle, guys. I love his matchup here. Bills are 28th against the running back, 31st against the rush. Thing is, you got Chuba Hubbard back in this game. And I looked, Rico Dowdle had 17 attempts in this game and 2 targets. And I believe Chuba Hubbard had 14 attempts and 2 receptions. Or 2 targets at least. I don't know if he caught them both. But it looks like their usage are very similar. They could both actually have really good games. And I love this matchup here. Not sure that he's going to play, so you need to check somewhere. But Breece Hall. Breece Hall is playing the Bengals, who are 32nd against the running back, 30th against the pass, and 27th against the rush, which is what I meant to say. But, fantastic spot for him. He hasn't averaged like a ton this year. He's only averaging 12.2 a game, fantasy points, but he's just in a great spot. If he does not play, his backup is going to be cheap and a very good play. I think it was Isaiah. Let's go over and check. It's Isaiah. Um, is it Isaiah Davis, guys? Is that where are they? Okay, here they are. Yeah, I think it's might be Isaac. Might be Isaac Davis. I think it might be Isaac, but he's cheap. Would be a great play. If Breece Hall does not play. You also have Derrick Henry playing the Bears, who are 23rd against the running back, 28th against the rush. I don't know how you don't like Derrick Henry in this spot. I don't have any clue why he's only 6,000 salary either, except he's only averaging 13.6 fantasy points a game here. Yeah, not sure about that. I will say, by the way, the running back that does play for New York might have to carry a heavier load because Garrett Wilson is out. So that will probably benefit that running back. I like DeAndre Swift here, who is also questionable. So look somewhere, make sure he's playing, but I love his matchup. He's averaging 17.2 fantasy points a game. The Falcons are 31st against the running back, 26th against the rush. He's in a fantastic spot. And J.K. Dobbins, guys, I told you there's no shortage of running backs this week. The Cowboys are 29th against the running back, 30th against the rush. J.K. Dobbins should absolutely dominate this week. I don't see any way that he does not. Except he only averages 12.6 fantasy points a game. I don't like that, but his matchup is fantastic. This could be the week that JK just, I don't know, just goes off. Alvin Kamara, great matchup. How is this even possible that there's this many good matchups for running backs? I don't understand. The Buccaneers are 26th against the running back, 21st against the pass, but 11th against the rush. Still decent matchup for Alvin Kamara. His team just is no longer the team of old. Don't like Stevenson here. Chase Brown, I think they might use him quite a bit. The Jets are 22nd against the rush, 13th against the running back. I could easily see him getting some points in this game. Chuba Hubbard, we already said we like his matchup. And then you have the guys down here that we do not like as much, except you start getting into backups that you could potentially play, like RJ Harvey. He could be at play if you need like a cheap option that just doesn't cost a lot that could end up getting some points. He did have one game where he went off this year. And then, of course, you have Isaiah. Okay, it's not Isaac. I don't know why I was thinking that. It is Isaiah Davis. Isaiah Davis, if he plays, will be a fantastic play. So there you have it, guys. All 15,000 running backs that are going to do well this week. I hope you have fun picking and choosing between those. But I know for certain I'm playing Jonathan Taylor and Bijan Robinson. Moving on to the wide receivers. There are quite a few that I like, but not many. A lot of guys talking about Jamar Chase here, probably because he got 41.1 fantasy points last week against Pittsburgh. I don't like his matchup against the Jets. The Jets are 9th against the wide receiver, 9th against the pass. Yes, I could see him getting 20 points. I don't see him getting 41 in this game. And really, I personally think he's probably going to get 10 to 15. That might sound crazy, but I don't see him getting that many points this week. It could happen. I'm going to say 15 to 18 points is where I see him falling, or landing. I shouldn't say falling. CeeDee Lamb, don't like the matchup at all against my Broncos. Just throwing that out there. Don't like it at all. Nico Collins is out, which will open spots for the backup receivers for Houston. I'm not going to look at them. They're going to be cheap, but I don't like their matchups anyways. But they're cheap options. Don't like Pickens. Emeka Egbuka, he'd be the next one that I like quite a bit because of all the injuries there. And even if, those players weren't injured, he's still a great wide receiver, averaging 17.5 fantasy points a game. Saints are 14th against the wide receiver, 12th against the pass. I think they're going to use him a lot. And but I don't really like any of those wide receivers that much. Egbuka a little bit. I don't like Drake London in this spot. Odunze is really the first wide receiver that I like quite a bit. He's had a rough past 2 games. But most of his games this season have been good. He's averaging 15.5 fantasy points a game. The Ravens are 27th against the wide receiver. They are 28th against the pass. I think Odunze is set up great here. Already told you, I think his quarterback's set up good. Cortland Sutton is the next one. The Cowboys are 31st against the wide receiver, 32nd against the pass. I think really you could play any of the Broncos receivers, I think, this week. But Cortland Sutton obviously is projected to be the highest. He's their number 1 receiver, should be the best for Denver this week, I would imagine. And I could see him being a top 5 wide receiver this week. I like A.J. Brown. I like Devontae Smith. I'm not going to show you both of them, except what? What is this? A.J. Brown out. Giants are 29th against the wide receiver, 26th against the pass. A.J. Brown is out with a hamstring injury. I don't even think he was questionable. Did not know about this, but I guess don't play A.J. Brown, guys. I guess that's the perks to getting my video up late and doing it on Saturday instead of Friday. But now you know A.J. Brown's not going to play, which means Devontae Smith is an excellent play. He's excellent anyways, but look, he had 36.3 points last week against Minnesota, and A.J. Brown was in that game. And he had 30-something points as well, I believe. So, like 31. Devontae Smith had 11 targets last week. Man, he might be a player that we don't want to not play here. I think I like him better than both the wide receivers I just mentioned, now that I know A.J. Brown is out. Which is tough because I really like the other 2 receivers. Dang, guys, that's a game changer here. Yeah, so Devontae Smith, I think the Saints wide receivers could do well again this week. I'm not going to look at them. I don't think they're going to do great. I think they could do well. Michael Pittman Jr., same thing. I think he could do well. I don't know that I see him doing great here. A lot of talk about Zay Flowers this week. Lamar Jackson is out, so I think that probably changes those talks. And I just don't like him here that much. DJ Moore, I think he could play, but Odunze is the guy that's been getting it done for Chicago. So, Wan'Dale Robinson, I think, would be an excellent play here, guys. Averaging 13.5 fantasy points a game. I would imagine because of Devontae Smith and the passing attack that Philly has, I would imagine Wan'Dale Robinson will be needed a lot in this game. So Philly's 24th against the wide receiver, 19th against the pass, and I just think he would be a great pick. I'm going to skip all these guys here. until you get down to the Titans receivers, I think, because Calvin Ridley is out and he has the best matchup on paper this week, I believe, as far as wide receivers go. So if we scroll all the way down here to Alec Ayomanor, I still don't know if I'm saying his name right, guys, but the Colts are 32nd against the wide receiver, 29th against the pass. With that said, Shamir Dyke, if I'm saying his name right, actually had more fantasy points last week than Ayomanor. He had 4 targets, 4 receptions, and I believe he had a touchdown, giving him 16.9 fantasy points. So they also have Van Jefferson. They all got 4 targets. Excuse me, I think Ayomanor had 5. Yeah, he had 5, but he only had 2 receptions. I don't know which one of these guys to go with, but they're all cheap. They're all dirt cheap. So I think you could play really any of them. So those are the receivers that I like. And I thought I had my lineup made until I saw Devontae Smith was the main dude now, and for the Eagles. I don't think any of these 3 that you're seeing on the top of the screen right here, I don't think really any of these. Downs, Shaheed, Jennings, Pierce, Shepard. I don't think any of those are bad plays this week, but I don't think they're great plays. Shepard, I think, could get some more usage because of the injuries now there and for the Buccaneers. But I still don't love him here, but he had 7 targets last week. Now, with that said, Tez Johnson had 9 targets last week, got 15.8 fantasy points. He's had 10 or more since week 5. I like Tez Johnson here. I do. I also like Troy Franklin. They obviously have a great matchup. We already pointed that out. Yeah, there you have it, guys. Those are the receivers I like. Maybe a Marvin Mims you could even play. And then, of course, you have the backup receivers for Houston that you could play. Those are some cheap options, but I'm going to go ahead and move on. I guess I should fill in these wide receiver spots. I'm just going to say right now, Devontae Smith, now that I know A.J. Brown is out. I like Cortland Sutton, and I like Odunze, but that's going to make my lineup a little harder because of salary. Yeah, that just doesn't leave a whole lot of salary left. I did have a lineup made. I really wanted to play another running back. And I still might. I might go cheaper. I might take Sutton or Odunze out and play cheaper. Probably don't want to take Sutton out if I'm playing Bo Nix, but might want to take one of those guys out and play a running back as the flex, especially if not Isaiah Thomas. Boy, that's a different sport. If Isaiah Davis does play, then maybe able to throw him in there. I think that would be great. I apologize. This video is getting long, guys. Ferguson, don't like his matchup. Warren, don't like his matchup. But I think they could both do good anyways because of their targets that they see. I don't think they're going to do great. First tight end I really do like is Fannin, guys. Harold Fannin Jr. But he had a great matchup last week and flopped. They just didn't throw to him enough, I don't think. How many targets did he have in that game? 5 targets. They should have targeted him more. They should have. And they didn't. But with that said, I think he's a great play. I think Dalton Kincaid is a great play. Titans are 25th against the tight end position. I I think he would be good if he plays. You're going to want to see if, because he's questionable. And I should have told you New England's 27th against the tight end, 24th against the pass. That was Harold Fanta Jr.'s matchup. Goddard, I think, has an okay matchup. He's just hit or miss, guys. There are some games they just start throwing to him like every freaking play, and it gets really upsetting if you didn't play him, but I also don't like playing him for some reason. Don't love Evan Ingram's spot here. I do like Kyle Pitts quite a bit. Miami's 22nd against the tight end, and I think he could do well. I think Hunter Henry could do well, averaging 10.4 a game. And I actually kind of take that back. The Browns are 11th against the tight end. I don't know how well I think he'll do. I don't think he's going to do great, but I don't think he'll do horrible. Mason Taylor is in a great spot here. He's had a couple decent games this year. Nothing major. But he's questionable as well. If he plays, or whichever tight end plays for the Jets, they have the best matchup on paper against the Bengals, who are 32nd against the tight end. So a lot of talk about Otten. I saw on some videos earlier, guys. I don't love it because he's averaged 6.4 fantasy points a game. That's not enough for me to really give a whoop-de-woo-hoo. Dalton Schultz, averaging 9.7 a game. 49ers are 12th against the tight end. I don't love that either. I don't. Think he could do well, though. And Johnson, I think, could do well. Noah Fant. I expect Noah Fant to have a good game. The Jets are 30th against the tight end. And I could see Flacco throwing the ball to him quite a bit. He had a game last week. He had 14.4 fantasy points, 4 targets, and 1 touchdown. I think it's a good week for him. I think it's a good week for Okonkwo or Helm. I realized that Helm actually got more targets last week than Okonkwo. Okonkwo did not get any last week. Or I'm sorry, he got 2 targets. He had 0 receptions. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I think Helm or Okonkwo, either one would be good. I think Komet is now ruled out. So you got Colston Loveland there in Chicago, or for Chicago. They're playing at Baltimore, but he could be good this week. The Baltimore's 23rd against the tight end. Yeah, so moving along, guys, because I want to end this video. I'm going to play we'll just say a cheap tight end. We'll go with Helm for now because we're running out of salary to play all these guys that we like. I'm going to look at defenses real quick since we've already looked at every other position. The Colts defense in the best spot probably. They average 8.9 fantasy points a game. Tennessee is 32nd against the defense, so that's a good pick, but you're paying up. 3,800 salary. Patriots, same thing. They average 9.3 fantasy points a game, and Cleveland's 26th against the defense. I think they would be great, but they're 3,600. I think the Falcons will be good. They average 7 a game. Miami's 26th against the defense, but they're 3,500. I don't really want to pay up for my defense this week. Normally, I like the Broncos. I don't like their matchup against Dallas. So the next, and I think the last defense that I actually like a lot, and I take that back because I almost skipped over the Texans. The Texans are averaging 10.2 fantasy points a game. They're playing the 49ers, whose quarterback may or may not play this week. Might be Mac Jones, who I think is still a good quarterback. But 49ers are 20th against the defense. I think that could be a good game for the Texans. And then next, I know it might sound crazy because they're playing Baltimore, but we also just saw Lamar Jackson's out. is the Bears, averaging 8.3 fantasy points a game. And the Ravens are 25th against the defense. I like the Bears defense because they're cheap. And as you can see, guys, because I put Devontae Smith in there and it changed my lineup from what I had before that you did not see because I actually made it before this video. It made it now where I can't do that lineup anymore. This was mostly it. I think I had Okonowu in instead of Helm. But then I did not have Devontae Smith in because I thought A.J. Brown was going to play. The only thing I would know to do here is take Odunze out, which I really don't want to do against Baltimore. Or go cheaper on tight end. Play like a backup tight end or something, and I don't really want to do that either. But I also don't want to take Sutton out. There's no way I'm taking these running backs out, so I guess I take out Odunze. And really, somebody I would like to play, I would like to play J.K. Dobbins. I really would. But also, what would this look like if I actually... How much was Odunze? Because we could play Wan'Dale Robinson there. That would only leave 2,700. That would mean we're playing a backup tight end in that spot. So I don't love that either. Except I really like Wan'Dale Robinson, but I also like J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins would be probably more than Wan'Dale, right? How much was he? 5,800. That would only leave you 21. So I guess you'd have to play a weaker tight end, and that still would not leave a ton, except... All right, guys, let's say we punt on tight end, or we count on Dawson Knox not playing in this game. Does it look like he's going to play? He was limited at Friday's practice. Even if he doesn't play, let's see how much Knox is. Knox is still probably like 3,000 or something. How much is Knox? 2,800. That would only leave you with 2,400, so that wouldn't work. I don't think mathematically there's enough on here. I was gonna say we go down and play like Dyke or something, but that only leaves 1,800. Man, that stinks, guys. I trying to figure this out, but there you have it. These are the players I like the most. Except I also like Odunze and Wan'Dale Robinson. Gonna have to fool around with this lineup, but you guys see the players that I'm obviously refusing to give up here. I might have to lower and not play Cortland Sutton. I might just go with Dobbins instead of Sutton. I just like Sutton a lot here, and I like him also because I'm playing Bo Nix. But hey, guys, listen, I wish you the best for this week's main slate. I wish you the best for Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, and all of that. But I appreciate you watching. If you like the video, if you want to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Trying to get my subscriptions up. So that would be awesome. If you don't want to, I don't blame you. But thank you so much again for watching, and I will talk to you on the next video. Thanks again.